Good morning, everyone. Rise and shine, ready or not, let's do this. Welcome to this hangout today, Tuesday, November 11th. My name is Nina. I'm from New York City. I live out in the borough of Queens. I have the privilege of working from home. On today's hangout, we're going to talk a little bit more about time being a precious resource. But first, let's review what we spoke about yesterday. I'm going to be looking back and forth to my notes so that I stay on task. So we spoke about time being our most precious commodity. A lot of people focus on dollars and not on time. When you lose money, money can always be recuperated, but when you lose time, that is a resource that can never be recuperated. So we have to focus on how we manage our time. And when we talk about managing time, time cannot be managed. It's like it just comes and goes. Time is like this uncontrollable beast. You know, it just comes, it's there, and it goes. You just can't bring it back and say, well, I need more time. That's not something that you can say. We all have the same amount of time each and every day, 24 hours or 1,440 minutes. It's how we approach it, how we manage it ourselves, or well, let me take out the word manage. How we set our priorities, the decisions that we make on how to spend our time, define our lives right now to this moment. Where we are at this point in time, whether we're happy with what we are at right now or not, depends. It's a result of the decisions we made yesterday. Okay? Your priorities determine how you spend your time. So you got to think about, what are your priorities? If you feel that you're not making the best of your time, then you have to reevaluate your priorities. Let me read you a quote that I think is very important. No, I know is very important. It's by Miles Barnes. He's a sales consultant and he's an author. And it has to do with this. It says, time management has nothing to do with the clock, but everything to do with organizing and controlling your participation in certain events that coordinate with the clock. Let me read it to you one more time. Time management has nothing to do with the clock, but everything to do with organizing and controlling your participation in certain events that coordinate with the clock. So that is confirmation that we choose our life by how we spend our time. So it's time to reflect on your priorities if you're not happy with the results you have right at this moment. Now, to change your life, you need to change your priorities. And when you establish your priorities, you also have to understand that you must act on them. It's not enough to just write them down and have them there in a notebook, but you have to reflect on them and you have to act on them. And there's always room for tweaking and refining, because when you are on the quest to find your sweet spot or your strengths, you have to try something here and try something there to see what works best for you. And that only comes through trial and error until you find that sweet spot, your strength zone, or where you're optimizing your time and you're using it well, and you are doing your priorities as you want them to be done, and you're becoming highly productive. People who reach their potential, they determine and act on their priorities daily. Let me say that again. People who reach their potential and fulfill their dreams determine and act on their priorities daily. So this is a daily exercise. Even when it becomes mundane, you must reflect and act on your priorities daily. Okay? Here is an affirmation to state each and every day. I will prioritize my life and give focus and energy to those things that give the highest return. I'll read it to you one more time. I will prioritize my life and give focus and energy to those things that give the highest return. Now, you're probably wondering, where am I getting all this great information? And it's from John Maxwell. In this book that we're focusing on, it's called Today Matters. And You can find it in bookstores, or you can find it on Amazon and have it sent to you and read on it. It's filled with amazing information that you could apply right now to make your today matter even more than yesterday. So when you want to establish your priorities, you should ask yourself these 3 questions. The first question is, what is required of me? Depending on what you're doing, if you are in a job, you're working for a corporation, or you're a small business owner and you work from home, you have to think about your industry and what is required of you to make the most of your day. The second question you want to think about is, what gives me the greatest return? Again, you could be highly productive and you can do everything on point, but are you happy? When you are happy and you're passionate about what you're doing, you're going to get a greater return than if you're just doing things randomly like a robot. And nobody wants to be doing things like a robot, especially if you're in a small business and you are embracing entrepreneurship. You want to be having a passion for what you are doing so that you get the greatest return. And the third question you want to think about is, what gives me the greatest reward? Again, when you are working in your business, your small business, and you have to think about what is going to give you the greatest reward when you work on this. Okay, let me just backtrack a little bit and check my notes. Okay, let me correct myself. What gives me the greatest reward? That is what you could be doing things on point, on task, but you may not be particularly content. You have to be passionate about what you're doing so you get the greatest reward. On what gives me the greatest return, here is that you're going to find some activities as you're working that are going to yield a higher return for the effort than others do. So you need to focus on those activities. Those are the activities that you need to focus on that gives you the greatest return in your business. For instance, as you're working through your day and you keep getting distracted by your emails while you're working on, say, a blog post or a script for your next video, then move those emails out of the way. Even though there may be important emails, block out a time to dedicate to those emails and work more on your blog content and your script content for your videos so that you can have a higher return when you produce that content. That is an example. Okay. We then also spoke about the most important 20 minutes of your day. And this has to do with planning and organizing your day. John Mayer, the CEO of Lemonly, came up with the daily plan, 8 goals that you establish each day. When it's during your work week, it'll be 6 goals that are professional goals and 2 that are personal goals. So a professional goal could be that you're going to reach out to a prospect and talk to them about your business. That could be a professional goal. Or that you are going to complete and video film 2 videos and edit them and have them published. That could be another professional goal. And a personal goal could be getting some exercise in, going out for that walk that you desperately need, or doing some jump rope, or going out for that run. That's a personal goal so that you keep up with your exercise, okay? And when you're on the weekends, like a Saturday, you flip those goals to make it 6 personal goals and 2 professional goals. So one personal goal could be spending time with your family, or going out for brunch with friends, things like that. And professional goal could be paying off some bills that are part of your company, etc. And then there's one day that you just don't have any list. It's just a downtime day. For many people, that is a Sunday where you don't do anything, you don't have anything on your list to do, and then you just get ready for the week again. And John Lemonly found that strategy worked for him, and that's why I shared it with you. But also note that each person has different things that work for them, and this is just one strategy of how to lay out and prioritize and manage your time. Because there are other ways to do it, and I'll share some of that with you today. Okay, so in summary, for the John Mayer, the daily plan is to, during a workday, write down 6 professional goals and 2 personal goals. On weekends, reverse that and do 6 personal goals and 2 professional goals. And on one weekend day, have no lists and do nothing, because that is a rest day for you. Okay. Now, I was just reading a little bit more of John Maxwell, and I came to a part in his chapter about today's priorities give me focus. And he talks about managing the disciplines of priorities. And I'm going to share with you 3 tips that he shared in that part of the book. And here you go. And the first thing is to evaluate your priorities daily, because our priorities can shift and change each and every day depending on what's happening. So he shares this really funny story where a man went to the Super Bowl, and he climbed to the top rope to get to his seat. Now, I know for many people, the Super Bowl is really important to them. It's a big, high priority, and they make time to be at the Super Bowl, or if they're watching from home, they get the family together and get all the good food together, sit down and watch the Super Bowl. So I know that the Super Bowl is a big priority for a lot of people. Not for me, because I don't follow football, but that's just me. But I know for a lot of people it is. So let's continue with the story. A man went to the Super Bowl, and he climbed to the top rows to get to his seat. And as he was sitting down, he noticed an empty spot on the 50-yard line. I guess that's really close there, close to the scene of the, you see how I don't know about football, forgive me, all you football fans. So he noticed an empty seat down by the 50-yard line, and a man sitting next to that empty seat. So then he climbed down to that place, and he asked the man in the next seat, "Excuse me, but is anyone sitting here?" "No," replied the man. "Actually, the seat belongs to me. I was supposed to come with my wife, but she died. This is the first Super Bowl we haven't been to together since we got married in 1967. "That's very sad. But still, couldn't you find anyone else to take the seat, a relative, a close friend?" "No," replied the man. "They're all at the funeral." So with that example, priorities don't stay put, but we do have to revisit them every day. Obviously, well, this man's priorities was at the Super Bowl and not at his wife's funeral. But anyway, but that's just a lighthearted example to tell you that you have to reevaluate your priorities daily. What was your priorities yesterday may not be the same priorities today. And that those reevaluation of priorities will help you keep organizing your time and keeping you on point and on task on the things that you need to get done. Plan your time carefully. We all talk about time management. We all talk about scheduling blocks of time to know what you need to be doing in your day. The most effective people, the most effective entrepreneurs know what their day looks like. John Maxwell says he knows, he plans his days 40 days in advance, so he knows what he's doing every single day. He even knows what he's doing on his vacation days. Now that's discipline, and that is being on point and on task. And it's not a bad thing to know what you should be doing, and because it helps you be organized and know what you need to do next. And it also helps you prepare for monkey wrenches to get thrown in that upset the balance of your day. But you know what you're going to do next, or you know how to catch that monkey wrench and throw it back out there because you're prepared. So it's good to be prepared and have an idea of what you're going to be doing every single day. He recounts another story here, which is really interesting. It talks about Charles Schwab, president of Bethlehem Steel in the early 20th century. And he met with a public relations management consultant, Ivy League, because he wanted to improve on his company's productivity. So that's a cool thing about leadership. Leadership is not all about me, me, me. It's all about how can I make my team grow and become leaders themselves. So Charles Schwab was thinking about his company. He was thinking about his team. So He said to Ivy Lee, "We know what we should be doing, but if you can show us a better way to get it done, I'll be very appreciative and I'll pay you really well." Or he said, "I'll listen to you and pay you anything within reason." So Lee said he can help Charles, and it would only take 20 minutes of his time. And he instructed him to do this. Take out a blank sheet of paper and write down the 6 most important things you need to get done. The 6 most important things you need to write down the 6 most important things you need to get done by tomorrow. And then number them in the order of importance. So 6 things, write down 6 things you need to get 6 things you need to get done by the next day. Number them in order of importance and put it in your pocket. And the next day you take out that piece of paper and you'll get it, and you start with number 1. And you focus on number 1, and you don't look at the other things on the list until you get number 1 done. And once you get number 1 done, focus on number 2. And focus solely on number 2 and forget about everything else on the list until you get number 2 done. And you same for number 3 and so on until you quit for the day. And he says, don't worry if you only finished number 1 or number 2. You'll be working on the most important ones. So pretty much you keep doing that. And so what Lee says here, you'll be working on the most, don't worry if you have finished only 1 or 2. You'll be working on the most important ones. The others you could not have finished with any other method. And without some kind of system, you'd probably take 10 times as long to finish them and might not even have them in the order of their importance. So Lee instructed Charles Schwab to do this every day. And once he's convinced of the system, to teach it to his people and see how much more their productivity has increased or not. And then he says, try it as long as you like. This is what Lee said to Charles Schwab. Try the system as long as you like. And when you are convinced that this works for you, you send me a check for how much you think this is worth. So after a couple of weeks, Schwab sent Lee a check for $25,000, and with a letter said that this was the most profitable system that he has ever used, or the most profitable lesson that he has ever learned. And not long after that, Bethlehem Steel became the largest independent steel producer of its day. So it's important to plan out your day, and it's so important to rate all your priorities in order of importance, starting with the most important one first. So there was a survey taken by Daytimers Inc. that says that only 1/3% of all Americans plan their daily schedules. And only 9% follow through and complete what they planned. So if you truly want to be effective, you need to plan out your day. You need to evaluate your priorities and define what is the most important things you need to get done in a day. And then you have to follow through and act on it, because that's the important thing. No matter how hard it is, plan your day, plan the most important things first, and get on it, work on it, act on it, and get it done. And that is how you move forward. Okay? And the third thing is to follow your plan. Not only plan out your day, but also follow your plan. Follow out your plan. Let's see. Because if you prioritize your day, but you don't follow through on your plan, it's the same as you just didn't plan out your day at all. That's the same effect. You have to plan out your day, write down in paper, in stone, in whatever medium you have, what you need to do, plan out your day, what you need to get done, and then you have to follow through. You have to wake up in the morning and say, okay, this is the first most important thing I need to get done, work on it, and get it done. Just follow through. The profit is in the mundane, as Rappaport likes to say. Doing the same consistent things every single day, but making sure you evaluate your priorities daily, is what's going to create momentum for you. It will take time, but you have to be patient and just keep plugging in and plugging through. Okay, so that is the 3 things I wanted to speak to you about mindset-wise. Evaluate your priorities daily, plan your time carefully, and follow your plan. Now I want to share with you an article by Richard Branson that I found on entrepreneur.com, and is the 10 tips for succeeding at business. 10 tips by Richard Branson. And Richard Branson is the successful CEO for Virgin America, Virgin Atlantic. He is larger than life, and he has fun. And the first tip for succeeding at business is to follow your dreams. And we spoke a little bit about that. You would lead a better life if you follow your dreams and your passions, okay? People who work on the things that they love usually enjoy life more than everyone else, simply because they are chasing their dreams. A lot of people are starting to chase their dreams. In the information age that we live right now, it is easier. Not that I'm saying it's, well, let's say it's simple but not easy, but it's simple to follow your passion. It's never going to be easy, but because you have a passion, follow your dreams. Do some good. That's simple. Always pay it forward. Even if you see somebody less fortunate, buy somebody a cup of coffee. Always do some good. Be generous. Help others. That is also another tip for being successful at business. It is not all about you. It's about how you can serve others. In fact, when you help others reach their success, your success will come to you as well. Believe in your ideas. Give your venture everything you've got. Even while people don't believe in you, you believe in you, in your ideas. Just set forth and act on them. Even if you fail, you can learn from your mistakes and go into it and do it again and try again. Excuse me. We all have unlimited potential to do great many things, and that starts with getting out of our comfort zone. So give your ideas everything you've got, and you learn to tweak and refine until you get what you want. And once you get what you want, keep hitting the heights, keep going and fulfilling more potentials that you have. Number 4, have fun. Make sure that your team members are enjoying themselves too. All the successful entrepreneurs that I know and have the privilege to call us friends have fun in what they're doing. Of course, it is work, but they're having fun because they're following their passion, they're following their dreams, they're helping other people reach their dreams as well, and in turn, they're having a lot of fun. Okay? Don't give up. Never give up. You know, there are days that you're going to feel down and you don't want to do anything, you don't want to get out of bed, but you don't give up. I have, every morning I say certain affirmations to get my day started. And the last affirmation I say is that I will never give up. I say it 3 times. I will never give up. I will never give up. I will never give up. Even when the going gets tough, I will not give up. Never give up. So don't give up. If you fall, get back up, brush yourself off, and start over again. That is why you get a new day each day. It's a blessing to start over again and reach higher heights than you did yesterday. Listen, take lots of notes, and keep setting yourself new challenges. That is tip number 6 from Richard Branson. Carry a notebook with you. Write down your ideas. As an entrepreneur, living each and every day, you're learning brand new things. So I always carry a notebook, and I'm sure each and every other entrepreneur does the same. They carry a notebook, they take a lot of notes, and they set new challenges for themselves. Number 7 is to delegate and spend more time with your family. Don't forget about your family as you're building your small business. They are important too. In fact, it's healthy to have a good balance between the time you spend building your business and the time you spend with your family. It all goes down on prioritizing your day, setting up goals, 6 professional, 2 personal, flipping it on the weekends. It's good to have that healthy balance. Okay. It's also good to delegating, so that bringing on people who can do the tasks that you aren't particularly good at can free you up to plan your company's future. So that is also the importance in working in a team, because you can delegate tasks to other people to help you grow the company that you are building. Like, I know an entrepreneur that he delegates his the technical aspect of keeping up his blog and uploading his videos to another person. He creates the content, and he delegates the person to upload his content and make sure everything is working in his blog, in his website. But he creates the content. So that frees up time for him to create his content, while he has the administrative person work on all the technical aspects. And that can relieve you of a lot of headaches if you try to do everything yourself. It's better to delegate to somebody else. Another important thing about delegation, and this comes from John Maxwell. There are people who like to hold on to everything because they are perfectionists, and they feel that if they are the only one that can do it right and nobody else, that can lead to a lot of stress and a lot of time wasted. And John Maxwell has this rule. He says, if the other person can do it 80% as good as I can, I'm going to delegate the tasks to them. So that is a great guideline in thinking about how can I, in delegation, okay? Number 8, the number 8 tip that Richard Branson has on growing a successful business is to communicate, collaborate, and communicate some more. Communication is very important. It is important that you talk to people and you clearly define your vision. He likes to say here, keep it simple, stupid, and above else, work and play with others. He says, the Apple co-founder, Steve Jobs, and companies like Pixar built open work environments that invited intermingling and sharing of visions. And you need that atmosphere too. So working with your team, it's an open atmosphere, open communication. Put things on the table. It's good to put your ideas on the table. And even if you disagree, you can agree to disagree, but that you can have an open discussion. And meaning when you disagree with something doesn't mean that you don't like them. It's that it just, you don't share their ideas. And you can still work together and come to a happy medium and come to a good decision that is for the good of the company. There you go. Number 9, turn off your laptop and iPhone and get out there. So yeah, I'm guilty of this, where I could sit in front of the computer screen all day and not get out into the world. Thankfully, I have a dog who right now is waiting for me to walk her. And she pulls me here and there. And she's an older dog. She's 14, so she's a little bit of a slowpoke. But that is a good thing, because it gives me more time to enjoy the day, even though it's cloudy and it's cold. But I can take in some fresh air, and I can think on new ideas to create content and videos with, right? Number 10 of 10 successful tips by Richard Branson is to do what you love and keep a couch in the kitchen. And I'm just going to read this to you. As long as you're surrounded by the people you love and you're doing what you love, it really doesn't matter where you live or how much money you make. So he says here, when his family is on Necker Island, my family tends to spend most of our time in the kitchen together. If you have a roof over your head and a partner you love, you really don't need too much more. And then he says, now I really must get back onto my hammock so I can do some business. Around here, that's known as the Virgin Islands way. So that's Richard Branson for you. As long as you're doing what you love, as long as you are helping people lead better lives, don't focus on the money. Focus on doing what you love, and everything else will fall into place. A lot of people these days, they are focused on making a quick buck, on how can I make a quick buck, how can I make a quick here and there, and then they operate on this desperation, and then they start spamming people and saying, you have to join my business because this, and they start talking to you about, I don't know, how great their product is and all these redox reactions, and it's not all about that. You have to be passionate about what you're doing, and you also have to understand that this is something that takes time. But as long as you have a roof over your head, you have food on your table, and you're getting by, you're happy, and you're living each day, living out your passion, all these things are going to come to you. So we've reached the end of our time. And just in summary, Richard Branson's 10 top tips for succeeding at business. 1, follow your dreams. 2, do some good. 3, believe in your ideas. Give your venture everything you've got. 4, have fun and make sure that your team members are enjoying themselves too. Very important. Number 5, don't ever give up. Never give up. Number 6, listen, take lots of notes, and keep setting yourself new challenges. 7, delegate and spend time with your family. Delegate and spend more time with your family. Number 8, communicate, collaborate, and communicate some more. Number 9, 5 and 4 is 9. Turn off your laptop, iPhone, and get out there, get outside. And number 10, do what you love and keep a couch in the kitchen. If the kitchen is your favorite place to be. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful day. This is Mina coming to you from New York City in the borough of Queens of Rise and Shine, Ready or Not, Let's Do This. See you tomorrow. Have an awesome day, folks. Cheers. Bye.